Chapter 2 of Defending Jacob. The Rivkin family hosts the Shiva, a Jewish mourning ritual after the murder of their son, Ben. The entire town shows up, turning the solemn event into something that awkwardly resembles a party at times, with the hushed conversations rising and falling like waves. As Andy Barber moves through the crowd, people recognize him as the prosecutor on the case, whispering his name, but he avoids their gaze and the questions. They clearly want to ask about the investigation. Andy describes Newton, a quiet, upper-class suburb, where the murder has shattered the town's illusion of safety. The residents, especially the parents, are horrified by the violent crime, particularly because it targeted one of their children. Newton had always prided itself on being a safe, family-friendly community, and Ben's murder is a direct violation of that self-image. Andy's son, Jacob, is also present but detached, engrossed in his phone and isolated from the other kids. As Andy weaves through the house, he notes how the parents of Ben's friends huddle in the kitchen, confessing their fears and clinging to their children in the wake of the tragedy. There's a sense of forced intimacy, as though the shared grief has brought them closer. Though Andy knows these connections won't last beyond the immediate shock of the event. In one of the more humorous exchanges, Andy's wife, Lori, teases him for wanting to leave, saying, "Andy, you've been saying that since the second we got here." He responds dryly, "Not true. I've been thinking it, not saying it." Lori, recognizing Andy's discomfort with social situations, suggests he leave with their son while she stays behind. Upstairs, Andy stumbles into a private moment with Dan Rivkin, Ben's father, who is sitting alone in a dimly lit room. Dan insists on talking with Andy, asking the difficult, unanswerable questions. Why did this guy do it? Dan is fixated on the idea that his son was so good, and that there couldn't be any rational motive for the crime. Andy tries to explain that seeking logical reasons in a senseless act of violence will only lead to more pain, emphasizing that there often are no reasons in these cases. The chapter ends on a somber note, with Dan asking if other parents in similar situations survive such tragedies. Andy offers some hope, saying some do, by leaning on family and support groups, though he acknowledges that others don't make it through the grief. The weight of the conversation leaves Andy drained, revealing the emotional toll such cases have not only on the victims' families but also on those investigating them.